All right. Hello, everybody. How are we doing? It's Jacqueline from Digital Dollars Now. I am live. Hopefully, you're able to hear me all right. If I have anybody here listening, please feel free to pop into the chat, say hello. Let me know where you're logging in from. Love to see where everyone is kind of geographically. Also, if you do have a chance, please feel free to like and do subscribe to the channel because it does help me with um, uh, kind of letting me know where I am at as far as, um, my channel and my messages and everything um, getting out there. And I'd love to hear from you guys. So um, thank you so much for jumping on. I wasn't able to do a live stream last Friday as I had hoped, and this was honestly due to me and not the scheduling with the friend that I wanted to have a live with. Um, I had some stomach issues, may have been the enemy working against me, to be honest. I don't know, but I am thankful for the delay because had some exciting things that happened in the meantime. And I was able to reschedule that live, and I'm actually going to be having that live call Thanksgiving morning. So it may be kind of in line with the topic we'll be talking about, being thankful for things that are coming and what God has plans to do in this next season. So I'm really looking forward to sharing that. We're going to have some prophetic insights and going to share some prophetic dreams that me and my friend Heather have had. I was able to have a call with her last night to just talk about a dream that I actually had yesterday because I felt like it was a prophetic dream. But then again, I thought maybe it could be of a personal nature. So I wanted to chat with her and kind of get her insight on that because she has a prophetic gifting in dreaming. And ironically, she received a very similar dream that same morning, probably a few hours ahead of mine, on a very similar, I think, inline topic. So I think you guys are going to be excited to hear about that and for us to kind of dive into that a little bit more on Thursday's live. Um, and really today is kind of to um, not prep, but kind of speak a little bit to what I'll be talking about on Thursday, but also share um, some words that the Lord just shared with me recently, like literally just before this call. I was praying on some topics and writing in my journal, and I kind of had some downloads on a lot of different topics, and I kind of felt like it was flooding. It was like a flood of information for me. So some of this may not make sense, but then some of it may be confirmation for other people in the community, and I wanted to share it. I feel led to share it, and it's interesting because um, over the last several years, and I'd say probably about 10 plus years now, I've had um, I would say visions of myself talking in front of groups of people, kind of like in a congregation setting. And to be honest, at the time that I was having these visions, it seemed very weird to me because I was standing at a podium and speaking, and it was almost like I was speaking to a church congregation. But me now having more knowledge on kind of like this gifting that I have and dreams and visions, it's starting to make a little bit more sense to me. Because at the time, I was not on YouTube. I did not publish content or do anything that I'm doing now. And now I kind of feel like, well, maybe those visions that I was having wasn't me standing in a church at a podium speaking to a congregation of people. It was actually me sitting in a setting that I am right now, making videos or speaking on lives and talking to people that are tuning in from, their devices or their home or wherever they're listening from, and getting the information that I'm sharing that way. So I just think that um, this is a very interesting time, and I think the Lord has been giving me messages and giving me things in my secret time with him that I also think pertains to um, the body of Christ and the events and things that are going to be unfolding here in the next couple of months to years. So I do want to share that with everybody here tonight. And I'm hoping this won't be a log thing, but I tend to talk a lot and sometimes I would say all the time. My video goes over longer than I anticipated it going over. So I do apologize for those listening in that may be a little annoyed sometimes that my messages are very long. It's probably just a trait of me I got to work on, but um, tonight I'm going to say my message. It'll take as long as it takes, and hopefully those that need to receive it are blessed by it. So I'll just say hi to a couple people that have popped on. Hi, Victoria, Eastern Kentucky. Great to have you on. Hi, Jerry, British Columbia, Canada. Fantastic. Glad to have you here. Um, so I'm going to read directly from my journal. I'll just start off that way and then go into some other topics probably from there. And mind you, this is just me free writing kind of what I'm hearing and then what I'm seeing in the spirits. So this hasn't been edited or I would say how, because I have a gifting in writing. So that's something that I personally would like to do as a profession is write books and write content. So I tend to do a lot of free writing and I'll just write things down as they come out and it's usually very messy. And then I have to go back through an editing process and make it sound pretty and make my thoughts that I was receiving make sense on paper. But I'm not going to do that in this situation because I feel like this wasn't a creative writing session. This was just stuff that I was hearing and seeing and feeling. So, and I feel like it was from the Lord. So I just want to read it as I received it. And then I hope that this blesses you. And maybe some of you, this will be confirmation on some things. Um, I don't know. We'll see. Only the future will tell what plays out. So I'll kind of start and go through this. So um if it wasn't possible, then you wouldn't believe it was done by God. There would still be doubt. There will be no doubt in what is about to happen. This will be a miracle. What is about to take place with Shiba Inu and some other cryptos? He will receive the glory, God. His children will praise him and give all the glory to him, and those who scoff in disbelief will mourn. Thus says the Lord. Just like the Lord parted the Red Sea and held back the Pharaoh and his armies with a pillar of fire, the Lord will perform miracles in this season to make this word come to pass. And to be honest, I do need to reread this passage in the Bible because I don't know if that pillar of fire is something from the movie that I saw as a kid or if that really is in the Bible. So I do apologize, but that's just the way that I heard it. So I don't know if the Lord was describing this to me because that's how I understood the events that happened in the Bible, or if that really is what is said in the Bible. So I hope that makes sense. Um, and then I continue. Those who believe in me and take action, those who do not. Oh, wait, I read that wrong. Yeah, no, I did. Those who believe in me and take action, those who do not will remain. Be still and know that I am God. You are my precious jewel. And then I put in parentheses, I see a shining jewel and it's in his hand, like he's holding it. I'm carrying you and will place you, set you in your proper place where you are meant to be, so you can shine and so that all can see that I am the Lord. I bless those who love me, and I curse those who despise me, who and despitefully use my loved ones. Be patient, be ready. It comes quickly. And then in parentheses, I heard, even this very night. And I put question marks here because and I was telling him in my head, Father, I don't like setting dates. He knows that. I don't like that. And then I heard in parentheses, call it forth. Pull it down from the heavenlies, bring it close into you, and declare you receive it with joy and gladness. For both joy and sorrow come in the morning. Be ready. You are faithful, you are true. It will be rewarded. Remember your instructions. Call forth those things that are not as though they are. Be ready, be patient, fear not. You will be protected during the shaking that is coming. Listen to me, follow my voice and my instruction. Close all doors to the enemy. And then I kept hearing in quotation marks, be ready. It was kind of like an echo on the wind. It was very soft. Um, you have been prepared for this time and this season. You are made ready. Some may need to follow. Some may still need to learn and strengthen their faith in me. And then I have this in parentheses. I was seeing a baby sitting, and the baby had a diaper on, had a white diaper. It was a little baby. I mean, it was sitting, so it had to have been more than 4 months old, 4 or 5 months old. I think babies begin to sit up on their own at around 4 to 6 months. So that's just what I saw. Um, and then I heard, feed my children. And I put a note here too that um, this concept, feed my children, I think was in the dream that I received yesterday, which I'll share with you guys on Thursday. Um, don't be afraid. Don't doubt. I will lead you. I will lead the way. And then I saw, so I have this in parentheses, I see the free energy device again with magnets. And I don't know if I shared that with you guys or if it's just something I have in my journal that I write in. But I've been hearing things on this and seeing things on this about being able to make my own free energy device. Yeah. And then he continues, learn how to make this. You will need this in the days ahead. And then I heard lead blocks. And I have like Wi-Fi, it's a question mark, and then 5G and bad signals. So either they're going to be bad signals that are going through the air, or maybe they already are with 5G and it's going to get worse. I don't really know, but that's what I wrote down. And then oregano oil acts like an antibiotic. You can drink it or eat it or rub it on things or all of the above. I don't know. So I would look into that. Um, you need to learn. There is still much to learn. Your cup will runneth over. You need to expand your vessel. And changing your mindset from a captive mindset to a freedom mindset. And I have in parentheses growth mindset. So I'm going to stop here because I did make a note about this. I don't know if it was last night after or this early. It wasn't early this morning. It might have been last night before I went to bed or the night before last before I went to bed. I was praying and he brought this up in my remembrance about the captive mindset, and he had me emailing myself about content that I should put in my book, I guess. And I was using ChatGPT to come up with some things. Like I was asking ChatGPT all these questions, and it would just come out with all these lists of explanations and different things. So I think I'm going to use some of that and ask the Lord how he wants me to speak to all that and put it into my book. But I think this is something really important. He's been also sharing with me about involving changing your mindset, because this is one part I think the body does have difficulty with, is the captivity mindset, because we've been in captivity for so long. Okay, and then I go on. I feel and I see rising water, like in the middle of an ocean or something. And then in that moment, as I was feeling and seeing that, I was reminded of a dream that I had. I don't know how many years ago it was, but I had a dream about a submarine that was fully immersed in the water. And then I was in a raft or something on the ocean, just kind of bobbing around. And then the submarine came to the surface, and there were people inside the submarine, and I had to get into the submarine and help the people that were in the submarine. Um, and I was helping them with defense. So this was a time of war. This submarine was literally trying to defend, I think, well, I live in America, so it might have been defending America, but I was having to help that submarine locate the enemy and stop, I think it was a missile or something that they were shooting either at America or at the sub or something like that. But there had to be, I had to help them with targeting and being able to do that. I have to look up that dream because I have it in one of my older journals and I just couldn't find it. Um, it was a really interesting dream, but it was really cool. I'll have to speak about that in more detail later. But then I heard after he reminded me of that dream, enemy close. So that's a little worrisome in light of the situation that we're in politically right now. Um, so that's all I say about that. Pray on that, please, everybody. Um, and then I was reminded of another dream. Um, it's just back to back. That dream was interesting because I was in a warfare situation and it was an old time warfare. Like I literally had a sword. Um, my enemy was trying to get to me. He was up on a high ground, kind of like a little hill, and my enemy was a giant, a very ugly, gruesome looking guy. He was like 10 plus feet tall, and he had a really, really big sword. I mean, if you look in history, Viking swords, I mean, those things are huge, huge swords, like probably longer than a person is tall. That was the type of sword that this guy had. And I knew in the dream that the two men that were fighting on my side were my angels. My angels were fighting for me to protect me. And they were big too. Like they were almost as big as this guy, but it took two of them to fight this guy off, and he was still advancing. He was still getting to me. And I was kind of waiting in the corner, kind of seeing how things were playing out. My sword that I had to work with, to be honest, this is a little weird, but it was a broken sword. It wasn't a full whole sword. And it kind of looked like the sword out of Lord of the Rings. You know, the sword, I forget which sword it was, that had been shattered by Sauron. And then the elf king had to mend it back together to make it whole so that I'm butchering this storyline, could fight with it and use it at the very last of the trilogy. Um, but the sword looked like that because it was kind of all jagged because it had been broken. And then when the enemy got close to me, it was within arm's distance of me. I was able to use my sword and um, I I killed him with it. So I defeated my enemy, but I had to be in an enemy close situation, which is why I think he reminded me of that dream because that was the word I heard spoken, enemy close. Um, okay, let me go on. And then after this, him reminding me of that dream, I heard I was hearing the lyrics to a song and it said, the dog days are over, the dog days are done, the horses are coming, so you better run. That's a song. Um, and I know there's a lot more lyrics to that song, but this was the chorus that I was hearing. I don't know why I was hearing those lyrics, but it's something to pray about. So I'm not sure what the dog days represent, and I don't know if this has anything to do with crypto, guys. I wish I had more clarity on this. I need to pray on this a little bit more. Um, but I then heard be still, be present. And then I saw a vision of a symbol, and it was like he was drawing the symbol to me. So it was really interesting because he drew a triangle first, and then below that triangle, he drew another triangle, and then he drew a circle around that triangle, and that's the Ethereum symbol. So I don't know if we're about to see a run up in Ethereum, but yeah, I saw Ethereum. And then I saw XRP. So, and you know how I feel about XRP. So that's obviously one of my um, big holdings that I went through that with the roadmap. So okay. So sorry, guys. I wanted to upload something real quick to this live because I guess it's something that I can do during the live, and I do have a hard time multitasking, so apologize. Okay. I wanted to upload a quick thumbnail. I hope that worked. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so I'll continue on then. Um, and then the next thing that I heard was stop worrying. So maybe I'm worrying a little bit too much about the things that are about to go on in crypto. I don't think that I am, but I think that maybe I pray a lot about it because I want to make sure I'm properly positioned and I'm in the right place. So he told me, he told me to stop worrying, um, which I think is funny. The Lord's funny sometimes. Um, all will be well. All will be made right. Um, it's impossible for man what I am about to do. So I'm going to stop right there for a second because I find this very interesting. And before I had sat down to pray and write this out too, I had read a comment about Shiba Inu. And by all means and purposes, yeah, it would seem impossible. It is impossible for Shiba Inu to go to a dollar by the point of view of how many tokens are out there and the market cap and how much money it would take flowing in there to actually get it to be where it would actually the value would be up to a dollar. Um, Technically, yeah, that looks like it would be impossible. And unless they burned like 99% of the quantity of Shiba Inu that is currently on the market, um, I think that's the level of what it would take to get it to be a dollar value. So what he's saying here, it's going to be impossible for man to make it happen. What he's about to do. I don't know how he's going to do it, but he's God, so he can do anything, to be honest. Whether it's a blip, a glitch in the system, who knows? I don't know how it's going to work out. So I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to say anything more. We'll see what God does. Um, and then I heard it, and I have these in quotation marks, time of my anointed. We talked about that a little bit in the last live that I did, so that's exciting. And then this was interesting. I have this in parentheses because I saw it. I was seeing a scarab, and it's like one of those little beetles in the desert in Egypt. Um, it was in a dark place in between a rock and sand. So I'm assuming it's in the desert somewhere, um, in the rocks of the desert. And it was trying to hide. And then it was scared. So it was being hunted by something. And then I heard exposure, it's found, and I see it being squished by a wooden scepter, like someone above had found it and then put a wooden scepter, like the one Moses would hold, and killed it and squished it. It was really gross. Um, and then I heard the Lord say, they can't hide much longer from their wicked deeds. Their time is almost finished. The door is closing, sorry. And then I saw a door closing in the spirit realm. Um, and I heard the Lord is shutting the door. And then I was able to see as the door was closing, I saw these insects scurrying across the floor, trying to get through the door before it closed and before it was too late. So I don't know what that represents with all the exposure that's going on in the what we're able to see, at least. I don't know if that means people are making deals to save their life or if this is people coming to the Lord um, before they're judged. Do you know what I mean? So pray on that. And then I heard, I have this in parentheses, the doors I shut, no man can open. The doors I open, no man can shut. Then I heard exposure. And then I saw Queen Elizabeth. I know she passed, but I saw her. And then I saw the Biden. Um, I say the Biden because I don't think that's really him that we've seen the last couple of years. But that's my opinion. That's not what the Lord said. Um, and then I saw somebody with their hand out holding like their fist out, holding something in their fist, and it was what they were holding in their fist was a plastic mask um hanging out of their hands, and they were holding it out like look and see, look and see. And it was one of those plastic masks. I don't know if you've ever seen this. Um, they're like the Hollywood masks, you know, where they have celebrities where they mold their faces and it can be worn as a mask. And they really do. They can look like the other celebrity or whoever it is. And I think they have to use a little CGI magic to make it really look decent, but it's remarkable what they can do. Uh, and then I saw the cartoon Scooby-Doo, um, and then Unmasking. So, you know, there was an episode, there may have been many episodes actually of Scooby-Doo, where they have a villain in the story, and then the villain gets unmasked at the end of the episode, and it's somebody had been playing this character, or they had been hiding who they were and committing these crimes, and they have to solve who it is. Well, I saw that scene of them being the villains were unmasked, so I wrote that down. Um, and then I heard nothing is as it appears. The veil of deception is being lifted. This will be really hard for many. Even even you will be shocked by some of what you see. He was speaking to me directly, and there's a lot of stuff I've researched, so um I'm not sure what could shock me at this point because I kind of feel like there's a lot of stuff I've been shocked with over the years that now I believe, you know, that were a conspiracy that now I believe are true, or possibly true. So it's going to be interesting to see what may be coming that's going to shock me even further. Um, so that feels really heavy. Um, and then I heard something breaking in the spirit, um, and then something sizzling, and then something boiling. Like those were three distinct sounds that I heard. And I asked him, what is this? I don't get that. Um, and then I heard him say, be prepared to be amazed. And I heard technology is more advanced than you think. Knowledge is about to pour out like a flood of rushing water. People will have to shut down. They cannot take it. Um, and then I kind of had a sense, I don't remember what this word is called, but it's like a psychosis where people are presented with the truth. Um, but the truth is so hard for them to accept that they just continue to believe the lie rather than accept the truth. And I know there's a name for it, and I couldn't remember what it was. So I gotta look that up. That's what I wrote down. What is that called? But that was the sense that I was kind of getting when he was telling me this, that people were going to shut down. They won't be able to take it. Um, and then after that, I saw gold, and it was like gold was running down. It was almost like it was running down code. And the code was flowing upwards and downwards like the Matrix, right out of, yeah, the movie The Matrix. You know how they show you the code of the Matrix. I saw that imagery, but with gold running down through the code. Um, and then I asked the Lord, is this blockchain, will the blockchain be backed by gold? And I heard yes. So I don't know if there's going to be some cryptos that are going to be backed by precious metals. but that could be very well where this is headed. Um, and then I saw this. This was rough. I saw a noose hanging, and it started with just one noose hanging. And then I saw many nooses hanging, and a noose being, the thing they tie around your neck and that thing. Many nooses were being hung for execution, and there were people being lined up and taken up a ramp platform in pairs of six. And the line is long of people, and their hands had been tied behind their back, and they were very solemn and sad and just being walked up this line. They knew where they were going. Um, and it was somewhere in a large open field, like a plain. It was kind of like, there's certain states in America that are just wide open plains, and I'm forgetting the name of one of them. I don't know if it's a southern state or it's Nebraska or something, but it kind of looked like that. I'm sure if I saw pictures of it, I would recognize it, but I can't think of it right now. And then I saw blood on hands, and the hands were being held up. So as if I was like in my visual perspective, I was seeing like I was looking down at my own hands, and my hands were covered in blood. And I wrote that um, this is the blood shed by these people, innocent blood. And I sensed children in the spirit, and I saw tears on faces of young people. And then I wrote, this is heavy, this is sad. And I felt sick at this point of writing all this down. Um, and then he just went on and he said, more must be done. The enemy will not escape the wrath of God. They will call out, wanting the rocks to fall on them. They are hiding underground. They are everywhere, like vermin. They will not escape. I need my people, my children, to step up. They will be needed during this hour. Put on your uncorruptible garments. Temptations of the enemy cannot touch you. It will not even appeal to you. It will disgust those who are mine. Girt up your loins. Put your armor on. And then I heard Ephesians 6. And I'm pretty sure Ephesians 6 is the one where they talk about putting on the full armor of God. I don't know the exact verse, but I'm pretty sure it's Ephesians 6. The tumor must be cut out to save the body. It will be painful, but is necessary. America, oh America, you have not known true freedom yet. It is coming. Hold fast, land of my brave. You will be used in a mighty way. Come see with me in the secret place. Mountains you must climb, and mountains must be brought down. You will rebuild them on my firm foundation. Do not be afraid. This must come before the great and terrible day of the Lord. And then I saw in the spirit a shovel, and someone was breaking ground. Like, how they break ground before a building goes up or they start to build. That's kind of the symbology that I was seeing. This must come to pass. And then I saw a scene from Gone with the Wind, kind of like a glimpse, like a still photograph of the movie, because Gone with the Wind was like 3.5 hours long. And the scene that I saw was the scene of the plantation, Terra. And it was a wreck. It was right after the war, and the soldiers were returning home from the war, and Scarlett was trying to help feed the hungry soldiers. So that was the scene that I saw. And then I heard war is coming, but not yet. And I heard delay. The enemy wants war. And then in parentheses, I see the Lord's hands pushing the enemy back. And then I wrote, pray into this, use your weapons of warfare. And then I see land, I see soil, and it's hard. It's really hard to till. Um, and it's hard to grow. That's what I wrote. And famine in the land, prepare, learn how to overcome. I will bless you and all that your hands touch. You will feed many nations. You will save many people. You will be used by the Lord in a mighty way. And then I saw a vision of me speaking in front of a camera, like it's a press briefing. And I was live on air, I guess, like I am right now, speaking to the world, telling them of the events that are coming. Okay, yeah. Um, so that was kind of confirmation to me that I was supposed to be sharing this with you guys. And then I heard, stand with Israel, America, comma, brother. And I kind of, in parentheses, I wrote nation. So it's like brother nation. Um, hard times ahead and glorious times ahead. And then I heard, and this is a quote from someone, and forgive me, I don't know who wrote this quote, but I heard, hard times create strong men create good times create weak men create hard times, and that is when the cycle of destruction will come. So I'm thinking we're heading into some hard times and that it is going to create some very strong men, the body, men and women, that men is, mankind. It's not gender specific. So that's what I think he's speaking to right here in this point of the um what he's giving me. And then by this point, I just put it in parentheses. I feel exhausted and I'm tired. So I don't know if I'm tired because of everything you just gave me, or if I'm tired because that's what I'm going to be feeling like during this particular time. Um, and I thought he was done. I didn't think there was any more that he wanted to give me after that. But um, I got up and I did something and I came back and then I heard a little bit more, so I kept writing. I heard XRP, buy XRP with profits. This will be an asset you hold and do not sell. And then I heard end game, so I put that in parentheses. The Lord will provide for your needs. You shall not hunger. Living water you shall not thirst. And then I saw a birthday cake with candles, and had pink and white icing. So it was white icing was the base of the cake, and then the pink was kind of like what it was decorated with. I don't know if the colors mean anything. Um, but there was a birth happening this season. And that was pretty much it from what I got from this. But this was a lot because normally I don't write this much, and this was like 8 pages for me of what I heard today. And I think it kind of all ties in a little bit with what I'll talk about on Thursday, with what the dreams that he shared with me, but also I have received confirmation of these same dreams through my friend Heather. And I'm going to let her share a lot of the words she's gotten and the dreams that she's gotten, because I feel like they all link together. And what's really great and cool about her too is she's received a word from another prophet about that she has kind of a missing piece to this whole wealth transfer. That I'm hoping in sharing some of these dreams and visions and words that she's received, that it'll maybe help piece these things together and make more sense, um, for people that are trying to prepare for this. So, and I don't want to read the dream just yet. I'm going to save that for Thursday. Um, yeah. Let me see. Was there something else that I did want to share on this? And the other thing I will say, and I don't know if I've shared this in a previous live calls, but um, I think it's important to acknowledge this that, if the Lord can't, I mean, if you're having trouble managing $1,000, let's say, how how can you expect the Lord to entrust you with millions of dollars and being able to manage millions of dollars? So right now in this season, this is a preparation season. You should have been preparing for this for a long time, but if you're new to this, your time starts now. You need to start learning and teaching yourself, or finding things that will help teach you how to start managing what you currently have. This is not just wealth, it's not just money, but it's your gifts. You need to start developing and learning what your gifts are and how you're going to use them in these next um, uh, seasons that are coming. And you should have that mindset, right? If you're struggling to manage $100, how can you be expected to be able to handle and manage more wealth than $100? So you just need to learn how to be good stewards of what you currently have, right? Um, and try to start thinking about it in that way and in that mindset. Um, let me see. Sorry, had a reminder go off. There was something else that I wanted to share out of my journal, and maybe this will just have to be something that yeah, I'll just continue on Thursday. So um I will read through some comments because I know, thank you everybody, honestly, for all your comments and everything that you're putting in the chat. I do appreciate you. I do read them. Um, Let me read through here and just see if there's anything I want to answer or talk to. Um, oh, and someone confirmed it was a pillar of fire by night. Yes, so thank you for that. Um, and then people confirming today, I have been feeling urgent about XRP to tell everyone I know that I will listen. Yeah, that's confirmation there. Um, um, okay. We have some comments on here probably I'll delete afterwards. They're not appropriate, but okay. Um, okay. Somebody was asking here, who is God, who decides? So I'm Christian, so I believe in God the Father, the Creator, the Lord Yahweh, and His Son that He sent to the earth, the Word of God, Jesus Christ, who died on the cross for the remission of our sins, and the Holy Ghost who dwells and lives in us for those people who have accepted Jesus as their Lord and Savior. So I will just say that if there's any confusion there, I am a believer in Jesus Christ, so I believe. Yes, he is the one in charge right now. He sits on the throne. Um, this one's funny. Why doesn't God show lottery numbers instead of meme coins and half-baked dreams? Um, God can choose any way that he wants to bring wealth into your life. I'll personally attest that he has helped me in a time of need with a lottery ticket. I personally didn't buy the lottery ticket. It was my ex-husband that bought the lottery ticket because I don't like to gamble in that way. Um, but I think for God as well, giving hundreds of thousands or millions of people, lottery ticket numbers would kind of defeat the purpose of there being a lottery winner because the more people that win the lottery, it kind of dilutes the pool of and how much money you can win. And God is a God of multiplication. So if you have an asset, if you have something that can be multiplied and used by God to bring you wealth, that is what he does. He's done it all throughout the Bible. So that is why I think he is speaking heavily to people about investments right now and where you can place your money in which investments that are going to be multiplied in this season. So I'll just answer that real quickly. Um, let's see. Well, I do want to say thank you, everybody, for jumping on here and for certainly all of your comments and questions and things that, you know, you'd like to ask. This is it's nice and it's encouraging, and I really do um just want to say thank you. Somebody did add a comment on here about kind of the lottery mindset, and I will just add this. A lottery mindset is very different from an investing mindset. So a lottery mindset, a lot of times, if you really think about it, and if you look at the history of lottery winners, a lot of times those people that have won the lottery, within 5 years, they're broke again. Um, they're broke again for a number of reasons, but I think one of the biggest reasons is because they didn't prepare up front for being able to manage that level of wealth. And once they did have the wealth, they didn't surround themselves with the right people and advisors to help them be able to understand or learn how to properly steward that wealth so that that wealth could last them not only for their lifetime, but maybe even possibly for multiple generations after them. They were more excited about the fact that they won the lottery and all the things that they've never been able to do or experience in their life because of where they were financially or just in their class of upbringing, things they weren't able to have, luxuries they weren't able to have, lifestyles they weren't able to live. So a lot of times those people um, will spend their money on frivolous things that don't have any value and cost them money. But at the end of the day, the things that they purchase don't bring money back into their pocket, right? They didn't invest their money in something that would yield them some type of a cash flow or a residual income or put it into an asset that would appreciate versus depreciate. I think there's a story, and I probably have to look it up because I can't remember exactly how it went, but this lady actually won the lottery multiple times. And each time, after a number of years, she went broke each time that she won the lottery. Which just kind of shows you she never learned to develop her mindset out of that captive mindset or out of that poverty mindset. She was living in what I call a now mindset versus a future mindset, and she wasn't um, learning how money works or how she can utilize her money so that her money works for her versus her constantly having to work for money. Um, and essentially she squandered that money. And a lot of people do that. And this isn't something just for people that gamble or people that, win the lottery. This also goes for people that are in the music industry, football athletes, celebrities. Sometimes there are a lot of people that have grown up in a lower income bracket all of their life, and the generations before them have all been in that working class, lower income level. And what I mean by lower income is under $500,000 a year annually. Okay. Then just anyone in that bucket and below, say it's lower income. Um, they've never had the level of wealth that they're at. And they kind of get caught up in the lifestyle of living, fabulously and buying all the clothes they want and the luxury goods that they want and partying and traveling and just doing fun stuff, right? Because it's something they've never had or experienced before. Um, but they don't necessarily invest it in things that are going to last them long term. And then when their career is over or it's peaked and they start heading down the back end of their career, um, they don't have very much money and they're struggling. And a lot of them are in debt. Sometimes they just go broke. And they end up having to take jobs or things that they normally wouldn't want to do, but they have to because they want to keep maintaining the level of lifestyle that they had previously. I think Nicolas Cage is a good example of this. I added some stuff in my book about this because, yeah, Nicolas Cage is a good example where he's almost gone bankrupt a couple of times, or at least one that I know of. Um, and he was a very popular actor in the prime of his day, but more in recent years, he's kind of had to take some really crappy roles, the public would say, um, roles that weren't, I mean, they're not really great movies, but Nicholas is a good actor. So he makes it work. I mean, he's in it, I think, for the paycheck, right? It's not necessarily the project. He doesn't get to be very picky sometimes in some of the things that come his way. Whereas you have other actors that, or not necessarily just actors, but athletes or people that have had a very big career and have made a lot of money, they've reinvested their money throughout while they're earning their money, they're investing it in ventures that are going to add to their wealth and build more wealth. I think Shaq is one of those examples. The guy is worth a lot of money. And if you look at all the ventures and things that he's invested in, it's a lot. It's a lot of stuff. So I think this is something that we need to start looking at as part of the body of Christ is shifting our mindsets and really identifying where we have strongholds in our own minds, strongholds in our beliefs. And sometimes it's theology that's holding us back a little bit, right? About these topics that are keeping us from seeing doors that God is either already has opened to you or is going to be opening to you. Um, so we kind of have to get out of our own way a little bit to be used by him in a big way. And I think one of the biggest things that is going to be a hard shift for a lot of people is the captivity mindset, because there are a lot of people that don't even know that we're honestly living in captivity right now in our daily life, and the fact that um and I have to go into this more in a book setting. I can't explain this here, but because it is kind of complex, but just in the systems that we're currently operating under, we're not operating in the final beast system, but we are operating under a system. It's a system of oppression, of taxation, of like it's even in our belief system, in a sense of our belief in God and what he can do for us. um there are some level of faith that we just don't have yet, and I think that's why as a whole the body of Christ isn't able to operate in a lot of the miracles that um we've seen in the Bible and that prophets have been able to operate under in those miracles. Jesus was able to operate in those miracles, but he said in the Bible, he said, you will be able to do these things and greater. But I think that it's going to have to wait till the last days until people are able to come out of um, not necessarily a mindset of disbelief, but we have to just start believing, have that level of faith greater than a mustard seed because you said if you had the faith of a mustard seed, you could tell that mountain to move and it would be thrown into the sea, like it would be moved. Um, and I think that's the level of faith that we need to be able to operate in and get to. So sorry if I went on kind of a large tangent there. Um, Let me see if there's anything else I want to answer here before I pop off. I have a question here. Do you think the flash crash will happen first or Shiba? And this is my opinion. Um, I I think that we are going to, because the dream that I had, and I posted about this dream already, so I can speak to this. I was preparing for a work meeting. The work meeting was on a video call, um, whether it be Teams or Zoom. The meeting hadn't started yet, but there were people that I was working with, colleagues that were already on this call, and we're just kind of talking about things before the call. And that specific dream was around taxes and how I believe there won't be taxes on cryptocurrency on the gains of it anyway, um, at some point during Trump's presidency, because I said he will abolish taxation on crypto gains. Um, uh, so I go into the other room and I change my shirt. So I'm taking off one shirt and I'm standing in front of a mirror and I'm looking at myself. I do believe that that one shirt that I took off, I think that was a spike in the market. Um, I did not have specifically confirmation in that dream that it was Shiba, but I had been praying about Shiba and I still continue to pray about Shiba because I want to know more specifically what's going to happen with that, um, and the timing of it. And when I had taken the one shirt off, I was surprised to see there was another shirt on underneath it. I live in California, so I don't normally have to wear multiple layers of things, like double shirts in order to stay warm. So I thought that was a little strange. And the shirt that was on underneath was reversed, so it was inside out. So I kind of feel like, and I'll speak more on Thursday about this because Heather has actually had specific dreams about Shiba. And so I feel like her dreams are kind of confirmation to me of what I'm sensing my dreams have been about. So I'm thinking that this first shirt was a pump in the market for Shiba. And then that's done. It goes to the side. The reverse shirt, I think, represents a dip back in the market because what's going to happen is if a whole bunch of people are taking profits when Shiba pumps up to $1, it's going to sell off really quickly and it's going to drop and it's going to plummet. So there's going to be another crash in Shiba. The second shirt is a representation that there's going to be a second wave, a second pump. And I know that I believe Sharon from Now Daily Bread has seen this, and I think there's been several other prophets that have seen two waves or two spikes in Sheba, and that the second wave is going to be bigger than the first wave. So if the first wave pumps to $1, maybe at most $2, the second wave I think is going to be much higher. I can't say for certain how high. This is something you'll have to pray about, but I do think that we're going to see um, Shiba Inu spike 2 times, and that the second shirt that I was wearing, um, I didn't take it off, so I had it on, and then I was about to go back in the other room because the meeting was about to start. So I kind of feel like whatever crypto is going to spike first is going to be what starts this meeting. And I believe the meeting was a representation of the starting of the wealth transfer and what we're going to be seeing this season. I also think because I did have a crypto dream, my one crypto dream that I had for certain, and in my dream it was XRP. I specifically saw XRP. I saw a glimpse of what the market was doing with XRP, and it went from somewhere below $10 up to 15. It spiked and then went down below $10 again. And I kind of feel like that's confirmation too, because if people are selling off Shiba Inu and making profit, it's going to crash Shiba. But then if they're pouring some of that profit into XRP, it's going to cause XRP to spike really heavily. Um, and then who knows, there are probably going to be people that are taking profits when Shiba hits around $15. So then that could I mean, not Shiba, XRP. So when XRP hits around $15, it could cause the market to crash again for XRP if they're all selling off around that time point and taking profits. So it might be that these spikes that we see is just the market of people that have bought in or buying in, and then people taking profits, and then the market's correcting and going back down. It's gonna be a roller coaster of things that are going on. Um, but as far as the crash, I know that there has been a crash prophesied. Multiple people have seen a crash in the markets, not just for crypto markets, but also for regular stock markets. And is there other, I don't know if anyone's talked about housing markets or not. I don't know. But I know that the financial crisis that's going to happen is going to affect multiple markets because it's going to be the dollar that's affected. Um, I don't know when that particular crisis, financial crisis or market crash is going to happen, but I think it is very likely that we could see events happening where all around the same time we're seeing multiple markets that are down, really, really down and really low. I don't know how that's all going to play out. I don't know that we're going to see that in this next quarter that we're heading into of like Q1 2025. I know Brandon from last days, he did see something and he believes he saw something happening around, I don't know if it was March or April of 2025, but he said he saw some darkness during that. I'm not going to speak for his video. You'll have to go back and look that one up. His dream that he was given. Um, so I don't know what he was seeing specifically or how that will play out, but for him, I think what he was describing um happened after the currency revaluation. And we could see foreign currencies revalue um in the next few months. I'm not saying it can't happen. God can do whatever he needs to do in his timing. Um I I am just sensing, and this is me personally, I can be wrong, and this isn't financial advice. Um, I'm sensing we're still a little ways off from the foreign currency revaluation. I'm and I given my what I think my personal thoughts of when I think it may happen in my investment roadmap, which is a couple videos ago that I posted. So you can look back over that and whether you agree or disagree, but those are just my thoughts. And my thoughts may change. I don't know. The Lord may reveal something to me tomorrow that completely changes what my thinking is on this. Um, and he can make things happen in probably a number of different ways that none of us even thought of. So, but I do believe certain currencies that have been undervalued for a number of years will revalue. I think that the Iraqi dinar is one of them, Vietnamese dong, Uganda shilling, I think the ruble or something, the Indian ruble. And I think there's just a number of them that could revalue and be very profitable for a short time. But that it's going to be like dominoes falling. It's like as soon as certain events start to happen, it's going to tip over another domino, and then that domino is going to tip over something else, and then it's just going to cause a cascade of events to occur that will all lead to probably fulfilling a lot of these prophecies that people have been speaking about. Um, yeah. In the order that those happen, I don't know. It's like trying to predict which domino is going to fall next. It's going to be interesting. I don't know if you guys have ever seen sometimes those really elaborate domino shows that people will put up, and it's like it creates this huge and glorious design as they all fall and they kind of go off in different directions. I think that's literally what we're going to be seeing in 2025 and then 2026 in this next season. It's going to be a little intense. So, um, Let me see. Anything else? Definitely have your sell limit orders set. If you're holding on to Shiba, if you're holding on to any of these coins that you feel are going to pump or spike and you're wanting to take profits, um, I would suggest having those um, cryptocurrencies on an exchange that you trust, and that you've prayed about, you feel confident in, that you can easily, get onto and log into and move your crypto off when you need to move it off. But have your sell limit orders set because you don't know when these events are going to happen and how quickly they're going to happen. It could happen very suddenly, may happen over a couple of hours. Uh, Who knows? May happen over a couple of days. But you want the crypto to be there and the orders to be set so they can be filled. Um, and I think too, the word that I talked to tonight, where I said, even this very night, um, the word that he gave me, I think really it's going to be sudden. You're not going to have time to log on to your exchange. Like it could be at 1 o'clock in the morning and you're sleeping. And then when you wake up at 5 or 6, you would have already missed what happens. So that's why I think for those people that feel led to set these orders and to be ready, it's an act of faith. Your faith requires action, right? It's not just a matter of, oh yes, I believe. You have to also take action to kind of walk out and prove your faith. So you setting sell limit orders, and having your baskets ready, so to speak, is a way of you to be obedient to what God has been sharing with you. And that way you can be in the place that he needs you to be at the right time, doing the right thing. It's kind of like a trifecta of situations so that he can pour in and bless you and you can receive it. Because if you're doing the right thing, um, you're in the right place, but you're not there at the right time. It's kind of like you're gonna miss the target, right? It's um you kind of have to have all three things in focus in order for you to hit the target, so to speak. I'm probably butchering that analogy. Sorry about that. I have somebody on here that says exchanges usually do not allow you to set limit orders to a very high price. It is relative to the current price. And that I think is true. However, I do know that you can go on Coinbase and you can set sell limit orders for Shiba Inu for around $1 or higher than $1. I don't know how much higher than $1, because I haven't tried it for higher than $2. So I can't speak to that. But I can say with absolute certainty that you can go on Coinbase. That's an exchange that does allow you to set sell limit orders, at up to, I think the highest order that I have in there is around $2. So, um, yeah. So if any of you are struggling to find an exchange that will allow you to set sell limit orders, if you're in a country that will allow you to use Coinbase, then I would utilize Coinbase. If you're in a country where you can't use Coinbase, if they won't allow you for some reason, you may need a VPN in order to be able to utilize it. If not, um, you're going to have to do some research in your country to figure that out. Oh, and thank you, Danny. Yes, Kraken is another one. So Kraken and Coinbase are the two that I currently am using just because there are a lot of exchanges recently due to regulations that have pulled, not allowing US citizens to, because of KYC and a couple other things, they don't allow you to utilize their platforms anymore, like KuCoin. I had been using that early on in my um, crypto days, and I really liked KuCoin, but they don't allow U.S. Americans to utilize their platform anymore due to KYC regulations. So that's a little unfortunate and sad. I don't know if that will change in the future. Who knows? And I know there are other exchanges out there. Binance is one. I can't remember why I took my orders off Binance. I don't know if there was something that was going on with them or something that just made me feel uncertain about Binance. I do use it from time to time when I have to buy uh, their Binance coin. I think it's BNB, because I utilize that to swap and buy other crypto meme coins like WikiCat and um, BNB Tiger and a couple other ones. But yeah, just look into it, do your own research, and just make sure you feel comfortable with whatever it is that um, you're deciding to do. Let me see anything else here. People confirming on here they've actually set some orders for $3 and $8 and $88 on Shiba. Interesting. So I guess you can go pretty high with Shiba. I don't know if that exchange, Rebecca, that you're using, if that's Coinbase. Oh yeah, she commented down below. It was on Coinbase. So I guess Coinbase allows you to go pretty high with setting limits because right now Shiba Inu is like 4 zeros after the decimal point in the numbers. So that's a pretty good spread. And I know that I have been able to place orders for Shiba to dip. I think the lowest I was able to go in placing orders on Coinbase for like a crash scenario was like 6 zeros and a number, maybe 7 zeros and a number, because I don't know if we're going to see a crash where Shiba, when the whole system actually fails and, we have a crash scenario where all the cryptos are affected. I don't know if we could see Shiba crash back down to those numbers and then go back up again. And I don't know if that's before or after the second wave. So we'll see. Time will tell. Let's see. Okay, so Joshua, you making a comment here. You can't even buy BNB chain from Binance to buy BNB Tiger and WikiCat. So with buying BNB Tiger and WikiCat, it's a little bit tricky. What I've had to do, and mind you, this may not be the easiest way to go about doing this, but this is just the way that I figured out how to do it without losing my crypto. Um, I would transfer crypto over to my Binance exchange from Coinbase. Usually I'll buy XLM and then send it over because it's really fast and cheap. And then once it's on Binance, I will sell my XLM and I will buy BNB, their Binance coin. And then I will send that Binance coin from the Binance exchange to my MetaMask wallet. And that's the one with the little wolf, the red wolf face. It's like an online wallet. It's called a hot wallet. From there, you can actually link your MetaMask wallet to PancakeSwap. And I utilize, it's an online exchange. It's called Dex Tools, that allows me to kind of look up I forget, it allows me to connect to PancakeSwap, if that makes sense. I have to look up the actual web address code for these meme coins because it's a very specific wallet address for these coins. And I've used CoinMarketCap in the past just to make sure that I'm getting the right one. I'm not buying a scam coin or something. Um, and then I'll paste that coin address into Dex Tools, and then it'll pop up with the coin. And then I'm able to click on PancakeSwap, and it'll take me over to the PancakeSwap site. And then I'm able to it's like a whole process. I I've tried putting together a video on this, but I haven't published it yet. as part of like my website. I wanted to post like how-to videos because some of these things were really complicated. But you're able to basically swap out of your MetaMask wallet. So you link your MetaMask wallet to PancakeSwap, and then you're able to swap your BNB for any of these meme coins, like a BNB Tiger or WikiCat, or there are a couple other ones that I bought doing this exact same thing because they're all on the Binance chain, the ones that I've invested in anyway. And then once you have swapped it, and there are some really high gas fees and just fees in doing it this way. I haven't found a cheaper way of doing it. Unfortunately, not yet until they're listed on an actual exchange. Um, and then it'll allow you to import the new token that you purchased, like BNB Tiger, into your MetaMask wallet. And then from there, once I've received my coins, I can actually transfer my coins over to my Ledger Nano X. So it's not, I don't like storing things and keeping them on a hot wallet because it's connected to the internet. It can be hacked. So I like MetaMask, but I don't trust hot wallets to an extent. So I like keeping coins that I can store on my Ledger Nano. I like to keep them in my Ledger Nano. And the coins that I purchased so far doing this, what I just described, I can store them on my Ledger Nano X. So that would be the WikiCat, BNB Tiger, I think Tiger Moon is the other one. And then there was like a third or a fourth one, and I can't remember the name of it to be honest. I'd have to log into my wallet to look at it. Um, so I hope that answers your question. Maybe that'd be helpful. And all the things that I'm describing too, there are things on YouTube that will kind of help walk you through this and figure it out. But you just got to be careful because if you don't do it right, you can lose money. So just be careful. And if you only have like $50 to invest, I would suggest if you're going to go about doing this, um, have at least 50 to $100 to buy because it's not going to be worth it if you don't, because the gas fees and doing these swaps and then transferring of crypto around, it can get kind of pricey. So it's like you're trying to invest $50, but you're really only going to get like 20 or $25 out of it at the end of the day. So it's not really worth it unless you do, a larger amount of investment. Oh, and JF mentioned BNB is recently listed on Kraken. So that's good to know. So you wouldn't even have to go over to Binance if you have a Kraken account. And someone here mentioned Apostle said that they saw Volt Inu at $2. She was extremely accurate when it comes to crypto and prophecies in general. Check her out. Name is okay. I'll leave that in the comments. Um, but yeah, I have seen Volt, not personally, I haven't seen Volt Inu do anything. I have seen prophecies on Volt Inu. Um, and I do think Volt Inu and Shiba Inu could go up around the same time. I don't know what Vault Inu can go to. I do hold a little bit of it, but it's not my largest holding. What cold wallet does everyone use or would recommend? Yeah, I personally like Ledger Nano X because it's really easy to use and it's small. It's like the size of a USB drive and convenient. I think Tangem is another one that people have recommended to me to use. I just haven't bothered to um, invest in it yet and buy it to set up. Um, I, I'm kind of good now with the wallets that I have, but I think when things really start to pop off, I may start investing in a couple of other wallets to just have diversity and see which ones I like best. Because I think it is a good idea to having your assets on a couple of different wallets just in case. I think there's been a word spoken about that as well. Um, oh, I think, yeah, somebody made a comment here about Ledger Stacks or Flex. Um, Ledger, I think they're coming out with um, a different version of their wallet is like a digital thing. It's kind of like maybe like a little mini tablet versus it being like a USB drive that where you kind of have to click buttons around to navigate. Um, the new Ledger, I don't know if it's out yet or if it's coming out. It'll have an interface that's maybe a little bit easier to use because it'll have a touch screen. That looks cool. I do want to pick that up when it drops eventually. And I have a question here from Kelly. Do you think B&B Tiger will still run? Yeah, I think we're going to see B&B Tiger run and make a run. I actually did a little video on this probably over a year ago now. Um, I did like a little B&B Tiger roadmap where I talked about it and what it does and what's neat about it, what to look for. Kind of how I was going through and assessing some of these cryptos and deciding whether I should invest in them or not. To be honest, I think any of these little meme coins that are being created and they go along with um games, like kid games and like little arcade games that they can play and buy things, and I think those are going to do really well because more and more kids are growing up utilizing these online games, these cute little fun cartoon games that they can interact with, and they buy things, they use their Apple Pay to, do it. My daughter does this stuff like all the time. And these are games like what, Candy Crush, you name it. How many of you guys as adults I know probably have games on your phone, your little guilty pleasure, that you like to play at the end of the day sometimes. Um, but I mean, these kids have the same thing, right? They have games that they like to play. And when you have their means of buying things in the game is linked now to a token, like a Shiba Inu or a B&B Tiger or what have you, I think that creates value in these coins and in these tokens that are being created. And so I think that's probably kind of how we're going to see some of these meme coins that they don't really make a lot of sense why they would pump up or make a lot of money, but I think that's how we're going to see these things start going through the roof because these kids are growing up, these kids are getting older, and they're now kind of programmed to be utilizing this stuff. That's their money. Think about it like that. We're literally teaching the next generation right now how they're going to operate in the world of finance using digital assets and these digital coins. So yeah, I think we're going to see B&B Tiger do a run up. Where it'll go, I have no idea, but I think it could definitely be a wealth transfer that happens with that. Um, yeah, someone here put up a comment about the crash buy orders for Shiba at 7 zeros and a one. Yeah, I've seen that people prophesy over that. And Coinbase, you can set buy limit orders as low. I believe it's either 6 zeros or 7 zeros and a one, and just have it sitting on there. So if that's something you feel led to put in, and just let it sit there, you can get a lot of Shiba for $1 at that, price point. So if you want to invest and just let $10 sit on your account and have it sitting at those limit orders, I mean, it'd probably be a good idea. Yeah, and Richard, he confirmed here, Tangem is very easy to use as well. And I think that's why I like the idea of Tangem because I have heard that by multiple people now that it's very easy to use, and easy to swap coins. So, and I think that's kind of what people need right now, especially people that are new to crypto and how it operates. It's got to be um, user friendly and it's got to be easy to use. If it's super complicated, it's for me personally, I'm not interested if it's super, super complicated. It's too easy for me to make a mistake, and I'm not interested in losing money over making silly mistakes like trying to transfer money or use my money or stuff like that. So I like to keep it simple, stupid, so to speak. Just keep it simple. And if I mean, I can usually figure things out pretty easily, but if I'm finding it difficult to use something, I know a majority of people are probably like, forget it. There's no way I'm going to try this. Um, I have here a question. How will you reinvest after the wealth transfer? Back into XRP, um, precious metals, gold, stuff like that? That's a great question. Um, so the book that I'm writing, I do talk about I call it the Great Wealth Transfer because I think that's literally what we're heading into. And I designed this using an AI, I don't know that it was ChatGPT, but it was kind of like an AI image generator thing. And I literally think this is what we're heading into with the wealth transfer, like a Red Sea moment. But it's not just going to be crypto. We're going to see multiple assets that are going to be coming into this over a number of years. Like over the next 6 years, maybe even 10 years, we could see huge transfer of wealth coming in at different stages and pouring into different um, categories of assets. Let's just say that. Um, so I've talked about it in I would definitely rewatch my roadmap, my investments roadmap video that I did. It was like a part two to my Shiba going to $1 video that I posted. So I kind of feel like Shiba Inu, and I've gotten confirmation, I believe, about this, and that's why I feel comfortable talking about my opinion in this way, and it is my opinion. Um, I think Shiba Inu is going to be one of the first cryptos to do a run up, and I believe that that is going to be one of the cryptos. It's not the only crypto, but it will be one of the cryptos that the Lord uses as seed money for a lot of people to pour into multiple different assets. And I do believe one of the assets you want to invest in, not to necessarily be buying and selling and buying and selling and making profits off of. But for me personally, XRP is one of those assets that I feel like is something that I'm wanting to hold on to for the long haul. That's like the word he gave me about it, end game. Like the XRP is the end game. It's going to be the asset that is going to provide the underlying technology that is going to create bridges to replace the SWIFT system essentially, but also bridges into other cryptocurrency assets to be utilized. Um, so I think that XRP is something that you should certainly invest in and hold on to. If you want to take profits for XRP, fine, but definitely buy back in and when it drops low. If it does, who knows if how the markets are going to play out with that. Um, but I do feel like XRP is a long haul. But there are other cryptocurrencies that I think are going to be important with the seed money that's coming to be investing in. And to be honest, any of the cryptocurrencies that are compatible with ISO 20022 messaging is going to be insanely valuable in the years to come because I do believe the Swift system as it is today is going to be going away. It may change into something else. It may morph into, and they may, I don't know if they're even going to still utilize it, to be honest, because I think once this financial system dies, the new financial system comes online, like a switch that they're going to turn on. I think it's all going to be run off of, um, uh, they're going to be utilizing a blockchain technology like XRP to be doing what the SWIFT system cannot right now. So I think that all of those cryptocurrencies are going to be incredibly valuable. And you can look these up. I mean, these are XRP, XLM, HBAR, IOTA. I think Cosmo is one of them. I believe, oh my goodness, I have a whole list and I know I've done a video on this. It's like it's a good handful. XDC, I believe, is one of them. Um, Gosh, I see the image right now in my head and I can't. There's some of them that's still a little fuzzy. I'll have to relook it up because I have it. I did a video on this. So, oh, Algorand, yes, is one of them. Um, so and there may be more that will be coming online and become compatible with these new messaging systems, but these messaging standards are basically what's going to allow them to interact with the current banking system. So, if anything, we know for certain these technologies, these cryptos that have the compatibility with ISO 20022 will be sticking around. And thank you, JF. Yes. XRP, XLM, XDC, Quant. That was the other one. Quant. Yes. Um, ADA, which I think is that Cardano? Shoot. IOTA, Algorand. Um, I don't know ADA. I have to do research on that. I don't know if Cardano is compatible, or if I've seen anything on that. I've done research on the other ones you mentioned here, JF. I'm not sure about Cardano. But I know that even though, yes, Ethereum may be sticking around, Ethereum and Bitcoin, obviously, these are like two of the, as like proof of concept, proof of staking. They're the kind of grandfathers in this blockchain technology. As of right now, they are not compatible with these messaging standards. So they're not ISO 20022 compliant. We're not compliant, but I think it's the word is compatible, what they utilize or say about them. Um, so I just don't think they're going to be used in the same way. And to be honest, probably for good reason, unless they're going to be drastically upgraded, because Bitcoin is a dinosaur. I mean, it's slow and it's insanely expensive. Like right now, if you were to be trading Bitcoin, it's going to cost you a lot in fees if you're going to be selling or sending that thing anywhere to use it for purchase of something. Ethereum as well is pretty pricey. I know not too long ago, I think I was trying to send I think it was my Shiba Inu. I was trying to send Shiba from my cold wallet to an exchange. Um, and I mean, it's one of the main reasons why I don't like buying things using the Ethereum network, because it is expensive, and it's why I usually prefer if I have to do any trading or if I'm sending money or donating crypto to, a cause or a ministry, I always do it through XLM because it's really, really cheap and fast. Um, so yeah, that's sorry, I got a little sidetracked. But I think that back to my main question about the wealth transfer and putting into investments, I think land is going to be very valuable. So if you're investing in land, growing food, like what I just received in this word today about a famine's coming, I mean, if you have land and you're able to grow food, you are going to be your business is going to be incredibly profitable in during this time when there's a famine. Food is going to be scarce. Food is going to be very valuable. Your ability to grow, produce, and share, sell food, whatever it is going to be very valuable. So if you feel led in that way to be um, one of those people, you don't even have to be the farmer. To be honest, you could buy the land and allow farmers to lease the land from you, and then they could grow the food. Or you could have someone run your farm for you. I mean, there are a lot of different things. You don't have to personally be the one that's farming and planting and doing everything. You can hire employees. You could be, it's part of the entrepreneurship that I feel like a lot of people are going to be operating in. Real estate, we could have, there could be a number of things. We could have a real estate boom where real estate is really valuable. We may also have during the hard seasons that are coming, a season of foreclosures and liens where people are unable to afford to buy or pay for their mortgages, and then they're losing their homes. And there will be an opportunity during that time for people to either buy up liens. I think that's a situation where people haven't paid their taxes on their home for a long time, and then it gets you can buy the lien on the home and own it in that way. It's like a whole thing. You got to learn how to do it. Um, or if something goes into foreclosure, you can buy it before either it hits the market, or once it does hit the market in a foreclosure, you can buy a foreclosed home really cheap. Sometimes you can even pick up the loan um, if you're able to get in contact with the person that currently does own the home, and you're able to do some type of assuming the loan deal. There are people that have done that, and it helps the person that's losing the home. As it doesn't, I think it doesn't affect their credit badly. And it kind of helps them out in a way because you're just kind of assuming the loan that they already have, without them having to go through the whole process of foreclosing and that it affects their credit. So there definitely will be a lot of different types of assets that you can be investing in with this money from the wealth transfer. I certainly think that precious metals is a very smart investment to have because that's God's money. And I think that the currencies in the future, whether it will be a paper dollar, um, a new paper dollar that's rolled out for Europe and for us. I think it will need to be backed by something of substance, and I think that will have to, and it should be gold. I think we should go back on a gold standard and have our currency backed by something of real substance. I also think that these cryptocurrencies, to an extent, should be backed similarly, as it being a currency, should be backed by uh, a precious metal like gold or silver or something else that gives it some kind of standard and value to put it against, right? Um, and if you are going to have a stable coin, I think those stable coins should be backed by something of actual value. Like right now, Tether, I think that's the stable coin, Tether. It's based on a fiat dollar. I think that one's the one that's pegged to the United States dollar. So I mean, it's really backed by nothing, but the United States American debt, which is growing every day. Um, it's not a very good thing to be backed by. So the other thing that I think would be really good for you guys to consider this as well is the fact that when this wealth transfer does start happening and all the seed money does start coming into play, there is going to be, I would say, an influx of new businesses that are being created, new corporations being created, because the kingdom, the body of Christ, is going to be starting ventures and starting businesses that they've been given instructions to do or been called to do, right? And the Lord is going to be blessing those ventures. He's going to be blessing those businesses. And so if you're watching and paying attention, you're going to have a very unique opportunity to be paying attention to these people that are starting these businesses, and they're probably going to be vocal about, their faith and their mission, vision, values, the company, what they're doing, and purpose of that. You're going to have a unique opportunity to invest in these companies very early on, probably right after the inception of some of these corporations, when the stocks are very, very low. And over the next couple years, these companies are probably going to grow exponentially. So in itself, that's going to be another form of wealth transfer that's going to come in. It would be like investing in, I don't know, the phone company when it was first invented, or the internet when the internet first came out, or Apple. investing in Steve Jobs when he was working out of his garage, you know? Like it's going to be that level of things because the Lord is not only going to bless these businesses, but he's going to give people ideas for new technology, inventions, all kinds of things. I think we're going to see an explosion, an acceleration of just technology that's going to be um, new ideas and new ways of doing things that are going to come out of all of this, which is kind of it's really exciting. Um, Let me see. Okay. JF, he corrected himself. Sorry about this, guys. He said that B&B is not yet listed on Kraken, but it has already been announced that it is to be listed on Kraken. So do your own research on that. Could be coming up here in the near to far future. So, um, let me see anything else. Um, any suggestions of ways to buy silver? I I've only bought silver in small increments, usually through an online exchange. There are a couple of different ones um that you can do it through. Let me see if I can find the exchange that I've used here in the past that I like. Yeah, I believe this is them. Yeah, okay, it's called JM Bullion, and that's J as in January, M as in Michael, Bullion, Bullion. This is the only one that I've used. But it's very easy to utilize. You can register and create an account, and all the silver I've received has been real, genuine, authentic silver. And I know because I've had to sell it a couple of times due to some unforeseen circumstances that have come up. And it hurt having to get rid of some of that silver because it was a good amount of silver that I had to sell off for unfortunate reasons. But yeah, I do want to buy back. I still have silver and they have a great selection. You can buy silver dollar round silver coins, American Eagles you can buy from them, or just silver bars. They sell the 1 ounce little silver bars there. Um, yeah, it's really great. And all of the times that I've ordered for them, it shipped to me. They put it in a very sturdy container and they pack it really nicely. Also, all those silver comes in sleeves, so it's protected. And you can ensure your shipping, all of that. And it's worked great for me. There are other online exchanges that you can buy silver from. So um, this isn't the only one. Depending on where you live, you may, like if you're in Canada or Mexico or whatever, you may need to purchase from somewhere else. I don't know if these guys ship internationally. I would think that they do, but they accept all forms of payment like Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover, Google Pay, Apple Pay, PayPal, Calamar, I don't even know what that is. But anyway, um, yeah, and you can wire transfer funds because so I have done this before. I've actually placed the order, and because it was a large order that I couldn't place on a credit card, I wire transferred the funds to them. And once they received it, they generated the order, and then they shipped me the silver. So and all of that went off without a hitch. It was really good. So I can recommend them because I have used them and I really like them. So um and they usually got a good supply of stuff to shop around from. So um I check them out, and if you feel comfortable ordering from them, try them out. Maybe try a small order at first and then um yeah, go from there. Let me see anything else. This is a great question. Do you think someday we'll actually be able to make money off XRP without selling it? I've heard rumors. I've heard rumors too. So, and I've actually watched some videos on this. Because I think what they're wanting to do, XRP, they're working on developing something, and I don't know what it's called. I I've sent myself some information, and I need to do more research on it because I would love to do a video on it. But I believe there is going to be a mechanism or a way for people that are holding XRP to earn money off of their XRP. Um, in a similar fashion that people are able to earn money off crypto by staking it, but it's not going to be staking. It's going to be something different. And I don't know exactly how this mechanism or what they're trying to do is going to work. And I do need to research this a little bit better. But I know that the Lord has spoken about his body, that we are going to be lenders to the nation, right? And it makes sense to me that a lot of his children is being led, right, to invest in XRP. He's spoken about XRP a lot. And it would make sense from my perspective that XRP is the thing that we are able to lend to nations without us ever having to um, sell our asset. So in a sense, it's like, and my how I see it happening is that we're able to have our XRP safely stored within our wallets, and that there is a mechanism that we're able to allow people to borrow collateral against. It's almost like because we're an XRP holder, I'm able to become a bank. I am now a branch, my own unique, it's like I'm my own unique bank, right? My XRP is my assets that I'm utilizing to start this bank, right? And I'm able to lend or allow people to borrow funds in a sense using the collateral of my XRP. My XRP never leaves my possession. My XRP stays within my wallet, within my digital bank, my XRP ledger, wherever I have it stored. But I'm able to sit it somewhere and put it within a holding account within my wallet that it will allow people to take a loan out for a period of time. I don't know how long that loan could be. Maybe it's a year, maybe it's 7 years, maybe um, however long they have in order to borrow that money. But then the funds have to be returned to me. But during that time, they have to pay interest on that XRP, if that makes sense. And by the end of that loan, they will have paid back the value that they borrowed against. Plus, I would have earned interest throughout the time that they had been borrowing or making that loan or that transaction or whatever it is. But I think there is a way that they're going to set something up that will allow people that are genuinely just holding this asset to earn money without them having to do anything with it. And I think it's going to be a way that it's going to be a safe way. It's not going to be a way that you're like gambling it or there's a chance of you losing it, if that makes sense. I don't know how it's going to work, but that's how I see it happening when I think of that. Because I personally wouldn't want to put something as valuable as my XRP up as collateral for just any Joe Schmo to borrow against, and then they're able to file bankruptcy, and then I lose my XRP. That wouldn't be something that I'm interested in. So, in order for I think this um, mechanism to work, they would have to set something up in a way that safeguards the one that's lending or allowing their assets to be used as collateral. But it also encourages e-commerce in a way um, to help people borrow money that they need for a short period of time and then pay back that loan or those finances, um, you know, for the period of the contract that they signed or whatever it is. So that's just kind of how I see something like this happening. But how that's going to work out, I don't exactly know just yet. And I'm really eager to see how that comes down and what ends up happening. But I think by the time we enter into that level of finance happening, XRP is already going to be it's going to be worth a good amount of money. And what I mean good amount of money, I mean it's going to be um maybe worth over $100. Maybe it'll be a couple $1,000s. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where it leads. But I think by that point, when you do start getting to the point where you're able to just earn money residually off of your asset holdings, XRP is going to be the value of XRP is going to be a decent amount. And the interest will be there, and it's already becoming so widely adopted. I mean, if you think about it, XRP is in the news all the time. And there are already, I mean, I email myself articles all the time about countries and companies that are literally adopting XRP and their technology to do e-commerce with. And it's really exciting to see. Um, I think it's being held back for a reason. And I think it's kind of like a double-edged sword. I think, the Lord's allowing this for a time because it's allowing his people to be able to utilize this wealth transfer to use seed money to buy in and still be able to buy XRP at a low rate. So that's just my opinion. Let me see. Anything else here that I want to speak to before jumping off here? Okay. Timothy did say Cardano is ISO 20022 compliant. So yeah, I'll have to look into that too. I know Cardano's probably going to do really well. Um, just like Solana has done really well. That one had a really good pump. Let's see. SD Bullion is another uh, heavy metals exchange that you can look into. Timothy here says that um, the prices may be a little cheaper than JM Bullion. So honestly, I haven't done the comparison, so I wouldn't know. But do your own research, guys. See what, works good for you. Ingrid, thank you for your suggestion. Look into becoming an accredited investor. So yeah, I don't know if that appeals to anybody. You might want to look into that. Let's see. Timothy Smith. Thank you, Joshua. He said there's already a couple banks in Brazil um, that already or are about to adopt XRP. Korea and Japan as well. Yep, I saw the article in Japan adopting XRP to be, yep. This is an exciting time to be alive. Yes, it is. And I'm telling you, those of us who are getting into XRP early, I mean, we're gonna look back on this probably in a couple of years and we're gonna have a laugh and probably talking about how we bought into XRP when it was $1 or when it was 50 cents. Some of us bought in much lower, when it was, had its dips. But yeah, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be like people right now thinking about those that invested in Bitcoin when it was like 10 cents. You know what I mean? And right now it's, seeing where it's at and where Bitcoin is certainly going to go too. I think that's where we're going to see XRP in a similar fashion. Honestly, in my opinion, I definitely see XRP in the future will surpass Bitcoin. In my opinion, it has to. If the markets aren't being manipulated, there isn't any way that XRP wouldn't surpass Bitcoin because, in my opinion, XRP is going to be the technology that will be utilizing and bridging together all these other cryptocurrencies. And it's incredibly fast and it's cheap and expensive. And with the on-demand with liquidity and just the technology of itself that's being used, and if you even just go on their website and just look at all the companies that are right now, as of today, utilizing the XRP ledger and their technology to do their e-commerce, to operate banks, to that are currently using it around the world, outside of the U.S. because the U.S. is they're not necessarily banned, but it's like the SEC has this thing that's they're still working out in the legal system, which I think is what's been holding them back from being mass adopted. It slowed them down a little bit. But I mean, the rest of the world is seeing this. It's only a matter of time. And it's crazy the conversations that they've had, the meetings that they've had with world leaders. And I mean, I think what Trump just met with um, XRP recently, like it's pretty exciting what's going to be happening. Um, and let's see. Mhm. JF, you mentioned I heard XRP and XLM will be a bridge to the quantum financial system. Um, yeah, I mean, I think the new financial system that will be utilized in the future, it's going to be a quantum computing financial, it's going to be a digital system. It has to be. With the level of sophistication and technology that needs to be operating. It's got to be something that's utilizing low amounts of energy. It's got to be fast. And e-commerce, in my opinion, has to be 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Like we have to stop living kind of in archaic times where, we're tied to this Julian calendar of only Monday through Friday between the hours of 8 and 5 p.m. But then, no holidays, no bank holidays, no I mean, they come up with how many holidays each month. They just make up holidays these days so the banks can be closed. I feel like you're going to be kind of set free to an extent when the quantum financial system is up and running, however that looks like, because you're not going to be held hostage with when you can use your money, when you can get your money and utilize it, at least until the final system is implemented and um, because they do have plans. It's written in the Bible. You can't buy or sell without their specific mark that they're going to put into place. So eventually, it's like this system has to be in place for them to utilize it in the ways that they want to utilize it. Um, so we have to have ourselves set up in the areas we need to be set up in prior to that um, prophecy becoming fulfilled. So, and then I think I see an comment in here about just wanted to address this. I think I missed it. Um, and I can't find it right now, but I think the comment was something about no amount of money can be equal to God's love or something like that. Um, yes, I mean, obviously, money is not a replacement for the love of the Lord. Um, but if you are going to be used by God in a huge way in the season that we're headed into, you undoubtedly, and this is without any doubt, you do need to have money in order to do that. And I will say this, even today, you cannot survive without money. That is the system that we live in, the world that we live in. We live in a world that runs off um, of money as some type of substance, right? You have to be able to earn something you have to sow in order to reap. Okay. We live in a system of sowing and reaping, however that looks. Whether you're having to grow your own food, plant the seeds, grow it, and then consume the food, there's toiling that's involved. There is work that's involved. You have to be able to work in order to earn. You do need to have money in order to survive in the system that we have today. You know, you have to be able to pay for your bills, your mortgage, your insurance, your livelihood, whatever it is. You're trading essentially your time for dollars and then utilizing those dollars to do things, to pay for things. Some of those things are essential basic needs, yes. Some of those things are um, you know, things that you want, things you desire, things that make you happy and that you enjoy doing. I mean, leisure, right? Leisure things. But in where that we're headed, the Lord blesses, and all throughout the Bible, the Lord has blessed those that love him, those that listen to him, those that are obedient to him. I think Abraham was one of the wealthiest men spoken about in the Bible. The Lord blessed him in a huge way. Um, but the Lord also used him in a huge way, right? He birthed an entire nation out of Abraham. He birthed Israel out of Abraham. Um, so money, in my opinion, is not this evil thing that we need to be afraid of. I think what you should be more afraid of is where your mindset is and where the condition of your heart is. What is your true desire? Are you desiring wealth and riches so that you're going to be famous and have influence and have a luxurious lifestyle? Um, you should really be doing that level of work and deep seeking and understanding of your own psyche, of where you're at. Or is your mindset of a more genuine, I want to be utilized during this time. I want to be of help during the times that are coming. I want to be prepared for what's coming so that I don't have to suffer in some of the same ways that I've had to suffer in my past. Like I don't want to have to worry about being homeless. I don't want to have to worry about not being able to eat today because I don't have enough money and I have to wait for payday. Or I don't want to have to, you know what I mean? Like I don't want to have to struggle in similar ways I've struggled in my past. And therefore I'm really seeking and listening and trying to be proactive so that I can be set up and prepared for some of the calamities that may befall the land in which I live. Um, the Bible talks about, and forgive me, uh, I forget which chapter, which book, it talks about this, but it talks about investing in 7 ventures, yes, even 8. And I'm butchering this because I'm trying to remember what it talks about, but essentially, um, you're not going to know what season you're heading into or how your businesses or your ventures are going to do in this each of these seasons. You may have 8 businesses that you're running. 2 or 3 of them maybe do really, really well during this time, but the other ones are failing. But you personally are still able to survive and still able to run your household and keep your employees and still do well because you are being profitable in at least 3 or half of the ventures that the Lord led you to invest in. And maybe those 3 ventures actually helped you from filing bankruptcy and losing the other businesses that weren't doing as well. Um, so it's biblical that the Lord wants you to be well diversified in your assets. Not only that, but you are to be, um, like he talks about you being a business owner, like you are to be the employer, not the employee. You are to be running your land and stewarding over your what you've been entrusted with, right? Um, and I know not everybody is set up to be um entrepreneurs or um, business owners or things like that. But there are investments that don't require you to have, operations, so to speak, that you can be investing in that can safeguard your wealth, but also can yield you residual income, right? So your money is actually working for you rather than you working for money. I know Rich Dad Poor Dad talks about this a lot. So this is why I think mindsets are so very important during this time, and just understanding where is your mindset, where are your challenges, and um, what's holding you back. And not only that, but I think it's important to start thinking about right now before your investments even hit. What is it that you can be doing today to start working towards some of the things that God may have been speaking to you about? Um, I'm sure there are a lot of things that you can be doing right now in preparation to start um, learning about. If you've been called to run a business, you need to learn how to run a business, what's involved in that. You need to, there's a level of preparation that needs to go into that. And it's not that you need to go enroll in a university and start taking courses. Yeah, that's one way you can get some basic knowledge, but there's a lot of free information online that you can just self-learn, and teach yourself about things to help give you an understanding and start building a foundation and help guide you on the journey that you're going to be going on. And as you start putting in the work and the effort, as you start learning and broadening your horizons, the Lord is going to start giving you more pieces to your puzzle, and He's going to start entrusting you with more information, which will then guide you and start guiding you a step in at a time in the right direction that you need to go, to get you where you are ready to really receive what he's about to give to you. I think, yeah, in the word he gave, he start talking about your vessel needs to become bigger. That's a perfect analogy of that. He wants to pour into you. Um, he wants to pour into you knowledge. He wants to pour into you finances. He wants to pour into you a lot of different things. But if your vessel is a little 6-ounce coffee cup, he can pour into it all he wants, but all you're going to be able to hold in that cup is 6 ounces. So your cup, your vessel needs to become bigger. And that can be a hard process. It can be a painful process, but it is a part of growth. And it's very much worthwhile. And anything you do to develop in yourself and to grow yourself, whether it be knowledge, whether it be mindset, your way of thinking, all of that, it's invaluable. It really is invaluable stuff that you should be looking at and trying to do. Um, we're all imperfect. We all have been programmed in some way since childhood and birth onwards. And some of the things we've been programmed with aren't of God, and some of the things that we've been programmed with aren't even correct. So sometimes God has to do corrections here or there, and I think you just need to be open to that and um, kind of humble yourself, really humble yourself, and decide, in prayer with Him, how to even go about doing that. Let's see. Is there anything else here that I want to speak to? This is an interesting thought. Joshua mentioned when Jesus comes back for the second time to rule and reign, do you think XRP will still be worth a fortune by then? So, this is a really cool thought. And I love that you brought this up because you got to think about this. So, um, if you look at Revelation and what's got to happen, right? Before the great and terrible day of the Lord, before the final judgment, before he takes the earth, the death and the grave and puts it in the lake of fire and destroys everything, it's like it's done, it's finished, right? There's still a lot of stuff that has to happen in the book of Revelation. One of those things, yes, is Jesus returning, Jesus setting up his kingdom on the earth, and there's going to be a millennium reign of 1,000 years that's going to happen on the earth where Jesus will rule and reign. Then it does say in the Bible that Satan will be released for a short time. We don't know how long that short time is, correct? But he will be allowed to be released to deceive the nations again. I don't know. It doesn't necessarily say if Jesus will still be on the earth during the time that Satan is released. It just says that Satan will be released during that short time um, to deceive the nations, and he will succeed. He will deceive the nations. There will be some nations that will turn back towards the old ways of doing things like they are right now. There will be evil in the world again. And eventually it's all going to climax and then coming to a final head and war against Israel, right? They're all going to join together and try to destroy Israel, Jesus, you know, um, and that area, and they're not going to succeed. Um, I think in the video I did, the investment roadmap, I actually took a couple of minutes at the very end of that video, and I talked about some interesting dates that I think are going to play out during that time in that season. And I talked about the super tetrad um, that is going to happen during two times. And just because I'm fascinated with Bible prophecy and I've been looking into it for a long time, and it's something that I really enjoy, and I want to learn for myself because I find the book of Revelation fascinating. And um I don't know, it just helps me understand prophecy better, and the Bible when I can kind of piece together timelines and really understand um what it's speaking about. Um, Let me trying to pull up that information because I want to speak to it properly right now on this live so that it's making sense. Okay. So the two dates that I'm talking about with the super tetrad timeline, there is a super tetrad that starts in March 25th of 2043, and it spans for about 18 months and ends on September 7th, 2044. During that time, you're going to see four blood moons during that 18-month period. And it has a total of, so it has a total of 8 solar eclipse events that are happening, 4 of which are blood moons. And then that event, the super tetrad, isn't going to happen again until what's the date? Oh, the year 3707 to year 3708. Those are the only two times that I've actually seen this super tetrad that's going to happen in the future. I don't know if it's happened in the past. I couldn't find anything on that. I can only find that this super tetrad is when it's going to happen in the future. The interesting thing about this is that the timeline in between these two separate super tetrads is about 1,700 years. It's a little less than 1,700 years. It's about 1,600 and 1,650 years, somewhere in there. So what I find interesting about that is the fact that, okay, if Jesus comes back at some point around sometime after the super tetrad, maybe as early as 2066. He comes back around that time. He reigns for 1,000 years, right? And then Satan is released. And if Satan is released and allowed to go back into the earth and with his, fallen angels and all of that, is able to accomplish again what his end goal has always been. And he's released into the earth for about 700 years, let's just say. Um, that's only like 10% of what the age of the earth is. Because if right now we're sitting at, um, theologians think the earth is around, off biblical timelines, around 6,000 years old, right? That's the year of man. Then we have a year of millennial reign. That would bring the age of the earth up to about 7,000 years. And if Satan is released for a short time, and that short time is only around 700 years, that's 10% of the age of the earth, right? That is a short time. 10% is a short piece compared to the whole age of the earth, which brings us up to almost the time of around the 8,000 year mark, which, mind you, um, isn't the number eight? It has something to do with completion or something like that. So I find that all that stuff interesting. I don't know if that's how it's going to play out, but that's just kind of where my realm of thinking is. So, do I think that XRP will still be worth something during the time that Jesus will reign on the earth? Yes, I do. One of the reasons why I think that is because during the millennial reign of Christ, um, there are going to be people here on the earth that are going to be ruling and reigning. And I believe that is a portion of the body of Christ will be here ruling and reigning. But there will also be people here on the earth that survive the tribulation, that survive everything that's going to happen on the earth, and they're going to repopulate the earth. Um, it's going to be 1,000 years of reign. I mean, there's going to be 1,000 years where there's not going to be sin, there's not going to be evil, there's not going to be anything horrible on the earth because Jesus is going to be here ruling and reigning, right? He's going to be setting up his kingdom. I think there's going to be technology that's going to be brought from heaven to earth and that's going to be allowed into the earth to be used for good purposes. And it's going to be a glorious time. I mean, we're probably going to see flying cars, we're going to see floating cities, we're going to see healing technology beyond anything that we've ever seen. We're going to experience probably on the level of like a sci-fi movie stuff that's going on. We're going to be able to translate. Like, I think teleporting technology is probably going to be a thing that's used during that time. Um, it's going to be pretty amazing. In my opinion, that's kind of where I see things heading and what the millennial reign will look like. Um, but there has to be some type of commerce, right? There has to be still a system that's being used. People will still work, people will still do things, they'll still live their life. It's still going to be earth for all senses of purposes, but it's not going to be corrupted in the same level that we're seeing today. And then when Satan is released for his short period of time, whatever that short period of time is, let's say it's a couple hundred years, 700 years, what have you, um, then I think we're going to see a corruption of all things again. We're going to see, maybe because technology is so advanced, it's easier for Satan to accomplish the level of corruption that he wants, in a quicker period of time than he has, in the age of the earth, because we haven't, as far as we know, since the flood, we haven't seen the level of technology to an extent that we have today, right? I mean, we know that they had a level of technology around the time they built the pyramids because we still can't figure out how they did that. I think there are levels of people that know how that was accomplished, but I think that technology is being hidden from us to an extent. Um, but yeah, so I think that yeah, XRP could in this digital um, financial system could very well still be utilized in some form in the future during the millennial reign of Christ. That's just my personal opinion. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how that all plays out when we get there. But I think it would make sense. Again, I don't think that it's money necessarily that is evil. I think it is the manner in which I think money is a tool. You can use a tool to do something good, you can use a tool to do something bad. It's up to the person utilizing the tool, to be honest. Just like a weapon can be formed out of anything. I mean, a rock could become a weapon, a stick could become a weapon, a gun could be a weapon. A gun could be used for protection or it can be used for bad violence. It really depends on who's using it and what they're doing with it and what their intentions are and what their purpose is. So, um, I don't necessarily think that money is a bad thing. It really does come down to intentions and you know the conditions of someone's heart, what they want to use that for. So I think um yeah, we'll see how and how this all plays out, but that is a very interesting question and I just wanted to speak on that a little bit. Let me see, is there anything else here I wanted to comment on? It's interesting. I will read this comment. JF, he says here, I heard some of us will have powers like Yeshua and defend the earth from the evil AI that is coming after 1,000 years of peace. So I know that Neville Johnson, he's passed away now, he was a wonderful prophet and pastor and teacher on the word. He had many visitations to heaven, many visitations with the Lord, and had spoken with Jesus about a lot of different things that he saw happening in the earth in the future, right? And he even spoke about people being able to um, operate in the spirit, I think is how he talked about it, but in a way that it was like having powers, like people could translate themselves from one place to another. And it was almost like they could also see in the spirit. And I don't know if it's like they're going to be able to see their angels or converse with their angels or if it's technology. I can't remember exactly. I remember watching a video of him talking about it, um, that there was going to be a level of technology during the 1,000-year reign of Christ that you would get like a notification. And I don't know if it was like a technology where um, the technology was speaking to you, or if it was like your angel would come to you, or even just another brother in Christ would come to you, is like Jesus wants to speak with you, and then you'd be able to go and translate to where Jesus is in Jerusalem, reigning in Jerusalem. Um, and you'd be able to operate in that level um, of gifting because that is a biblical thing. Jesus did translate when he was on earth. He walked on water. He was able to move through crowds of people, and people were not able to touch him. So it was almost like not that he was invisible, but it was like his body was like a spirit in a sense. Um, and he was able to move through the crowd without being harmed or in a sense or being like you couldn't grab a hold of him or something. I believe that was in one portion of the Bible that we talked about that it talks about in the Bible about what he did, some of the miracles that he performed. Um, and I don't know why I'm being reminded of this right now, but in the movie Riddick, there is a being, it's called an elemental, and she is able to move like that. She's able to move over things, kind of hover over things, but become kind of translucent and kind of shift her body in a sense to where she's almost moving kind of like a spirit. Um, I think maybe there are things like that that we may be able to operate in um, during the millennial reign. Like we may be being taught um, by Jesus when he comes down, all the levels of things that we're able to operate in because of our level of faith in God. And it'll be a spiritual thing and it'll just be, I don't know. I don't know. It'd be really cool. I would love to learn how to fly. I would love to learn not have to walk everywhere or stand all the time. That would be really great if, like you're having to stand in line for long periods of time instead of standing, you could just float or something. I personally would love that because I get pain in my feet if I stand for long periods of time or if I have to walk long distances, like for 7 or 8 hours at a time. It's exhausting. So yeah, I would love to be able to fly. Plus, I would love to not have to travel in an airplane anymore because my job requires me to travel in airplanes a lot, and I really don't like airplanes. It's just an uncomfortable process of travel. It really is. The seats are painful. It's I don't know. I think the level of technology we're going to see maybe we'll have a better means of transportation. Maybe we'll still have aircrafts that fly. They'll just be faster. Maybe we'll have our own little aircrafts that we can use and not have to, I don't know. Like maybe we will have teleportation devices and you just walk into a cube and then be transported somewhere else. I don't know what level of technology we're going to have during the time when Jesus is on the earth, but I know that Neville Johnson saw some pretty amazing things in his visions and visitations that he had. He even mentioned seeing roads that were being built, and these roads kind of operated off of, I think he said sunlight. So they were like solar technology in a way. And that there were crafts or something that would hover over them, and that was one of the modes of transportation. I'm pretty sure that was in a Neville Johnson video that I watched, and I could be wrong, but I do want to do some more back research on that and see what I can find there. Um, but I think that we must see technology during the millennial reign of Christ, right? Um, because the world operating will still need to continue to operate. There's going to be, I think, a lot of cleanup. It, Revelation does talk about this. It talks about, and it describes there being cleanup that's done. And forgive me, I don't remember exactly which chapter it talks about this, but um, that cleanup could be from a nuclear bomb going off. That cleanup could just be from all the destruction that was described in the bowls and judgments that poured out on the earth. I don't know. Um, but we are going to see things. There's going to be a lot to do. Let's just say that there's going to be a lot to do during the millennial reign of Christ. And I think there will still be people here that are doing that. And there will be some people here that will be um, ruling and reigning. They will be helping um, people. And I think they will be teachers. And maybe they'll be teaching things on the Bible, different levels of like deeper meaning of the Bible. And maybe chapters and books that we don't even have here on her earth, they're in heaven. I don't know. I think it's really interesting to see kind of where things can um the possibilities, if you think about that. Because it says that, I mean, Jesus is going to bring down the new Jerusalem from heaven, right? He's going to bring it down here to earth. That in itself is going to be an amazing thing to see. I mean, I know it's described, I think, in brief what it looks like. But I can only imagine what the technology of heaven is going to be compared to what we're currently operating here in the earth right now. It's going to be pretty cool. Um, Let me see. Anything else here? Okay. Yeah. I think I'm going to go ahead and end this now. I think I've been on here. I've talked for a pretty good amount of time. And again, sorry, everybody. I do tend to go on and talk on a couple of different tangents. But I do enjoy the interaction from my chat and my live stream. Thank you so much for everyone who's hopped on here and shared and joined in the chat with me today. I really do appreciate it. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you have and share my thoughts on what I think might occur or might happen or where I kind of see us heading. Um, so bless you all, everybody. I pray blessings over you and your finances and over um, the days, weeks, and months to come. I will leave you and let you know this on Thursday. Yes, I know it's going to be Thanksgiving morning. I do plan on having a live stream on Thursday morning. It's going to be 10 a.m. Pacific time. So it'll be 1 p.m. Thanksgiving Day, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thanksgiving Day. So that's the time both me and my friend Heather are available because we're off for the holidays. And thankfully, I don't have to cook a big meal this Thanksgiving. I'm just going to bring a dish and to potluck family dinner in the evenings. So it's kind of nice and same for her. So it worked out perfectly that we both have some time. But I think that live stream is going to be really exciting because I'm going to share with you guys the dream that I had the other night, which I got confirmation through Heather, who had a not an identical dream, but very, very similar dream, the very same night on, I think, the same topic that the Lord has been speaking to us both about. And she's also agreed to share some of her words that the Lord has been speaking to her over the last, um, certainly the last couple of months, since I think she's going to go back as far as like June. We talked about some of the words that he's been giving her, and he's been giving her quite a bit. And she actually has some very specific words on crypto. The Lord does speak to her about crypto a lot, which is exciting. And so she'll share some of those words that she's received specifically about Shiba Inu. She's had a couple about the meme coins like WikiCat, Bitcoin, stuff like that. She yeah, and she's had a lot that have been honestly like back to back words and or dreams that have come to her. So I think the Lord has really been sharing a lot for a purpose. And I know that she's received confirmation that she has a piece of this wealth transfer knowledge that needs to be shared. So my hope is to just kind of give her a platform to kind of speak to that. And maybe it'll be helpful for those of you in this wealth transfer community just to be the confirmation that you guys need, or just to better understand what may be coming down the line and what may be happening in the very near to far future. So yeah, so I'm excited. I called her last night and I shared my dream with her that I had, and we literally talked for like 2 hours, and it was like one wow after another. So I'm pretty excited for Thanksgiving and Thursday and what we're going to talk about. And so if you guys can, feel free to tune in or watch the replay at a later date. But do feel free to subscribe so you get notifications. So put on the little, what is it, the little bell symbol so you'll know when I do go live. And and then yeah, feel free to leave any comments or post anything in the chat that you would like us to speak about. Like if you want to ask any specific questions to her, please do put those in the chat function of that live as early as you can. And then hopefully before the end of that live call, we'll have time to read through some of the chats and answer some of those questions for you. And if this ends up being a well-liked live, pray on it. Maybe we'll do it again at a later date and just continue to speak about some of the dreams and the words that the Lord's been giving us about this whole thing and the wealth transfer. All right, so I'm jumping off. Thank you so much, everybody.